Good afternoon to all my ball knowers out there. This is episode 6 of the Southern Spread, and this one we're calling Talkin Tennessee Thursdays, as we have college game day coming to town this Saturday for a matchup against the Georgia Bulldogs in Neyland Stadium at 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Before we get into all this, I just want to say my thoughts and prayers go out to Charlie Kirk and his family. It's just terrible what happened to him. In a world we live in, it's just stuff like that. It's just a terrible world, especially for a guy like him. Really good guy. So I really feel for his family. So just starting off with that before we get into ball. But today, what we're going to talk about is this Georgia-Tennessee matchup. All things of it. It's going to be one whole episode of just Georgia-Tennessee. Keys to the game. I'm going to run you down on depth chart guys you'll see on Saturday that you might not know if you're a Tennessee fan. Guys you'll see on the Georgia side that you might not know but you need to know. Same vice versa. If you happen to be a Georgia fan watching this, and I'll run you down on some of the Tennessee guys that you'll see on Saturday that you might not know right now. So first things first, Georgia has won 8 straight against the VOLS, going back to 2016 was the last time the VOLS won, and that was in Athens on a Hail Mary play. Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann, the defensive minds of Georgia, have got the better part of Josh Heupel and his offense to date. I do like the evolving nature of Josh Heupel's offense so far this year, and hope that continues into this week. We will see how much he has shown this year. I've seen stuff already that I haven't seen in years past, even dating back to this past season. So he's added some wrinkles here and there in the screen game and the formation sets, utilizing tight ends. He always has, but he's using them in different ways as well too this season. But a big thing in this game is every year coming in is Kirby Smart has yet to allow the Vols to score 20 points against them. Can they exceed that mark this weekend? Can Joey Aguilar be the quarterback to change that fate? I believe he is the most able quarterback to reach that mark since Hendon Hooker. Hooker was really good, but I think as a totality of a quarterback, Joey Aguilar plays the quarterback position better. He's more experienced. He gets through progressions well. He's not afraid to sling it, and he's actually more athletic than he looks. So I hope we can make that UGA secondary spread out and hit a couple deep balls. I think there's a couple guys in that secondary that Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, Chris Brazzell can get on top of and get going early, hit a couple deep balls, and make them, more worrisome than we have in the past, just because we haven't been able to hit any deep balls against the Georgia defense in the past. So I really think that's going to be a key to start the game, and I always say that. So I think hitting a couple deep balls early in the game, first quarter, would be huge advantage Tennessee. Let 4 play. Let Mike Matthews be the playmaker he is, getting the ball early and often. When the ball's in his hands, he's incredible. But he's got to also make the catch. He's dropped a couple balls already this year, but just get Mike Matthews the ball early, and I think that'll be a big help. Some on the other side is force Gunner to make those throws he's been reluctant to throw. If he's scared to throw them, make him throw them. I guess. I don't know. I go back and forth on that, because also at the same time he's not throwing them. Some of them are wide open, so I hope he stays reluctant on some of them, but also some of the reluctancy could turn into turnovers for the Vols defense. So that being said, the Vols line has to get pressure on the quarterback. That was a big emphasis I thought last year was Carson Beck. We saw it in previous games where he was not good under pressure last year, and Tim Banks did not bring pressure in that game at all last year and just let Carson Beck just tear the defense to shreds last year. So I think that's a big point of emphasis for this year is we got to bring pressure, and they have been a lot more this year than a couple years past. He has figured out some stunts, some shells, some stuff that allows Tennessee to bring pressure while still holding up in the back end. I've seen a lot this year of just straight, my corner is better than your receivers. If you beat me, that's how you're going to beat me. Just straight man-to-man press coverage from the Vols and just letting the guys play on the outside essentially, and trying to get pressure home before those guys are able to get any type of release against the corners. So I don't know if they continue to do that. I would not this week. I would prefer a bunch of zone mix-up looks, zone pressures, simulated pressures, stunts, those types of things, to kind of confuse Gunnar Stockton, because this is his first road start as a quarterback. So I don't think the idea of going just straight press man coverage, my corner's better than your receivers, is a recipe for success in this game, just because we've seen him throw against that last year, and he did it pretty well. Those easy access throws, slants, curls, those types of things, those are going to be there. He can make those throws. We know that. But what does he do against defenses that are tough to read? He's struggled so far in those. So I think the zone mix-up looks will confuse him, make him read a defense, allow more pressure to get home because you have more time to get home. So I think that's a key in this game too, is kind of switching that up a little bit. And I just wonder if that's what Tim Banks will do, or if they'll just keep the same mindset of, if you're going to beat me, you're going to beat these corners. And so we'll find that out on Saturday as well. Georgia running game looks solid again. Of course, they got three backs that come in and out, and they are very, very good. All three of them are very, very good. And then after this past season, I think the biggest point of emphasis for the Tennessee defense has to be, where are the tight ends? Who are on the tight ends? Don't let the tight ends beat you, because last year they tore us to pieces, and that was a game. When Delp and Lucky, they were just doing whatever they wanted essentially in the passing game, and that's what can't happen this year. And they have more tight ends this year than just those two. So I think that's a really key part of this game, is making sure the tight ends don't beat you. And they do have better playmakers on the outside than they had this past season too. But they still emphasize the tight end game. And I think that's, if you could take that away, slow the run, and focus on these other things. But going back to the corners playing press coverage and not the zone looks, if you're playing the zone looks, it's easier to sort out the tight ends because of the fact that they're not man-to-man with a linebacker who can't keep up. But that's just one of those things that you either take the chance on just nailing it down and just doing what you do every other game, or you throw some different looks at a quarterback who hasn't seen that many different looks and could get very, very anxious in the pocket with seeing different looks and trying to read a defense. So now I'm going to get into some depth chart pieces, guys that play that you might not see or that you might not know a lot about. Just really run through the whole lineups is essentially what I'm about to do. For the offense on both sides, Georgia offense, quarterback Gunnar Stockton. I think most people know him. And then the backs, you got RB1 Nate Frazier. He played a little last year, quite a bit last year as he split time. And then the other two guys that you probably haven't seen yet as a Vols fan is Chauncey Bowens, freshman. He's really good. He earned some PT this week after his last couple games. And I think he might be the best one. He's so shifty. If he makes one guy miss, it's a home run call. Dwight Phillips Jr., very good back. So that three-headed monster is what the Tennessee defense needs to look out for. The receiving core looks a little different. They have a couple transfers. Zachariah Branch and Colby Young have both transferred in, and those are the dudes on the outside essentially. You'll see Zachariah Branch in the slot a lot, and Colby Young just a big body receiver outside who can run. Very, very good. And guys, they still have Dylan Bell, Noah Thomas, London Humphreys. They were there last year, and just solid receivers, So, so that's pretty much the 5 receivers that you'll see for the most part. And then we got 4 tight ends, essentially. The first 2 have been there, Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky. They look kind of the same when they're out there. Delp's number 4, Lucky's number 7, to give you a difference in who they are. And then you have 2 freshmen, Ethan Barber and Elias Williams. I don't know how much PT they'll get. I would assume we would see Barber over Williams if he plays any. But they're both very talented tight ends. The offensive line is stout for Georgia this year. They have 4 first-rounders probably starting. They had a couple injuries on the line. I don't know if those guys are back. I forgot to check Georgia's injury report. I know one of them was supposed to be back, and one of them was a game-time decision the last I looked. But yeah, they have just a room full of first-rounders, first and second-rounders. Freshman Juan Gaston is the big one. He's just a freak on the line. Now on the Tennessee side, obviously, we've talked a lot about Tennessee. Joey Aguilar, Deshaun Bishop. Joey Aguilar, quarterback, Deshaun Bishop, Peyton Lewis, Star Thomas as running backs. You'll see all 3 of them. They interchange every drive. And then as for receivers, the main 3, we know Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, Travis Smith Jr., or Chris Brazzell. And then I'm wondering if we'll see these freshmen that are actually really, really good any of this game spell those guys, Travis Smith Jr., Ray Darius Jackson, both very good, very highly touted receivers. So we'll see if those guys get any PT this week. Tight end room is really good as well over here with Miles Kisselman and Ethan Davis. We'll see. O-line for the Vols are way better than expected. People were kind of iffy on them coming into the season, but they've been very, very good, and I figured they would with the transfers that came in. They've had a bunch of playing time over the years, past couple seasons, and then the guys that were already there. Lance Hurd dropped 20, 30 pounds this offseason and got quicker, which is big at the left tackle position. And then left guard is Shumarat Umarov, a big 6'7" guard who's just a freak. He's a very good left guard. And then center has actually been transferred guard that's went to center. He can play either or. His Notre Dame transfer, Sam Pendleton, he had one mistake last year and he took accountability for it. But other than that, he is a very good player. And then right guard is Wendell Moe from Arizona, who has played 2 full seasons. I think it was almost 1,500 snaps. Hasn't missed a game and has yet to give up a sack. So hopefully that holds through Saturday as well. We'd love for that statistic to hold through Saturday. And the preseason right tackle, number 1 freshman David Sanders, was presumably going to be right tackle this season, but he has been hindered with injuries for week 1 and 2. So I wonder, he is listed as questionable on the injury report. However, I do believe even if he's healthy, he won't play this game because I don't think his first gameplay should be in a game of this magnitude, especially this early in the season, and the importance of this game going through both of these teams' seasons. He may play here and there, to spell a couple tight ends or guards or whatnot. But I do not foresee him starting and playing a ton of snaps, unless somebody gets injured, obviously. I foresee his first game being next week against UAB is what I think will happen for David Sanders, and I can't wait to see him out there. But as of right now, Jesse Perry is playing right tackle, and he was the number 1 graded tackle in the country this past week, and he has been a very good starting the season off. So I hope that continues to hold as well. So that's kind of the run down to the offenses that you'll see. Now I'll give you some of the defensive players you'll see out there. On the D-line for Georgia, you have Gabe Harris Jr., Jordan Hall, Elijah Griffin, freshman, stud. Hasn't done a ton just yet this season, but he will break out one week, and everybody knows his name already, and I just hope it's next week and not this week. Kristen Miller on the line, and then obviously they have other depth pieces, but those are just the guys that I've noticed so far this season. And then on the edge and linebackers, you have Elo Madozie, very good, very quick off the edge, taking place of Jalen Walker. So that's Elo Madozie, and that's one guy that's going to be keyed on for those tackles, is where his 18 on Saturday. Do not let him get to the quarterback. Linebackers for Georgia, all 3 of them. Yeah, they have 1A, 1B, 1C essentially at linebacker position. But the big one is C.J. Allen. He runs that whole defense. Number 3, you'll see him roaming around a lot. Number 5, Raylan Wilson. And number 9, Chris Cole. They both fly to the ball, really good at filling the gaps. Chris Cole, track down speed is insane. Watching him some on tape, he flies everywhere. So you'll see those guys out there too. Secondary, they're very good on the back end. Freshman or redshirt freshman, number 1, you'll see a lot of Ellis Robinson. Has been playing tons of press coverage so far, and he is very good at staying on top of receivers. And so that's a guy you'll see on the outside. Another one is probably a top 5, top 10 corner in the country. Number 6, Dalen Everett. Very good corner. A guy I presume should probably stay away from for the most of the day. You can't just stay away from him, but I wouldn't. He's very good at tracking the ball. He's about 6'2", 200 as a corner who runs probably sub 4.4. So speed, size in a corner, and he's just very, very solid on the outside or in the nickel. He moves around a lot, He's one of those guys that could, if they wanted to, just chase around one receiver all day and be perfectly fine. The safeties, KJ Bolden and Kyron Jones. KJ Bolden's kind of the leader of the back end as a safety, taking Malachi Starks' spot. We'll see how good he is at running that defense this year, because as it has been Malachi Starks the past couple of years. So there's a new guy out there, not new guy, but you're hearing it from a new person out there this week, and Neyland Stadium's going to be rocking, so we'll see how good he is at getting everybody cohesive together and, running that defense. We'll see. And then at the nickel, which is where I think the Vols can attack a lot on Saturday, whether it's Brazel, Matthews, Staley, Jackson, Travis Smith, tight ends. And I'm not discrediting this guy. He's a very good corner as well, but on film he has shown glimpses of getting beat, those types of things. Not as quick as Jonel Aguero. I think he's number 8. I didn't write it down, sorry, but I think that's the guy that they need to go after. And then they have another freshman, I forgot his name, and I think it's Jamello Edwards, maybe. Another guy you'll see on the outside and playing in secondary as well. He's very, very good. I think he is also a redshirt freshman. Now in Tennessee, I'll give you a big rundown on them. Everybody you'll see. On the line, you'll see Dominic Bailey. He took a big step in the offseason. Tim Banks said if there was an MVP on this defense for spring and summer, it would be Dominic Bailey. And you can tell that on tape as that's just transferred over into game, which is huge. Nose tackle, Bryson Eason. I think he is a key in this game. He has gotten better every single year, and filling run gaps will be huge in this game. And you have to have a guy like Eason and to fill those holes, and another defensive tackle who is questionable to play is Jackson Moy, and he is very, very good ball player, and I need a big game from Jackson Moy, so I hope he's playing, especially because the other nose tackle Davian Hobbs is out on Saturday from the first injury report, which is kind of a big loss as they like to run guys in and out, stay fresh. So one of these defensive tackles, I think, will move over to nose tackle for the day, and then we'll keep running the D tackles in and out. So that's kind of the line, other than the Leo spots, the edge positions that you'll see a lot of. Number 31, Caleb Herring, very good, knows what he's supposed to, just a very smart IQ football player off the edge. Loves to rap, loves to do all the stunts. He's very good at stunts and those types of things. Number 29, Jordan Ross. He's just a twitchy edge player. Gets off the ball good. He's just a sophomore, so he's young. Still got a lot to learn, but he is very quick. He's about 6'4", and reminds me a lot of a young James Pierce, like he was before he broke out. And I think that could be that type of player. He's about that size, quickness, that type of thing. And then the big time player on the line is Joshua Josephs, 19. I compare him to James Pierce this year. Hell, he stole snaps from James Pierce last year. And that's how good this guy is. If you're taking snaps from All-American edge player, you got to be really, really good. And Joshua Josephs is that. I compare him to Pierce. He's probably not as quick, but he's stronger, bigger, better in the run game than Pierce. He's probably, if Pierce is on step 10 as a pass rusher, he's probably on step 9. And then as a rushing defender, he is better than James Pierce. So you'll see a lot of 19 on Saturday, and he will play the whole entire game. He does not like breaks. He doesn't take breaks, and I love that out of him. In the linebacker core, you have number 12, Jaden Harmon. I don't know how much he'll play. He projects as a very good player. He's just a freshman, number 12. He's looked good in his first couple games in the volunteer uniform. So we'll see. He may jump in there, every now and then to spell these other guys, but that's about it. Number 13, Edwin Spillman, very quick, side to side. He can cover, and I expect him and Arian Carter to play a lot together on Saturday, because that's a big point of emphasis for these guys the first couple weeks is coverage in the linebacking department. And I think it needs to be a lot of Spillman and a lot of Carter on Saturday, just because of the speed side to side and being able to cover better than the next one, number 22, Jeremiah Thielander. He's very good in the run. If he gets his hands on you, you're going down. He's a smart ball player. He's just not as quick side to side as these other guys, and you're going to have to be in this game or they will come at you. They will pick on you, and I think if he's in the game, a lot of the times he's going to be the one getting picked on. But he is a very good ball player, and so I'm not saying that, but just in terms of getting picked on, I think Thielander is the guy that'll get picked on. Now, number 7, Arian Carter, leader of the defense. He is probably, if I were to say one person is the best player in this whole entire game on either team, um, it would be Aaron Carter. He's just a freak. He runs around to the ball. He can cover. He blitzes. He's run game. He's in the gaps, and if he puts his hands on you, you're going down. Very quick as a linebacker. I think he is the key to anything Tennessee does on the defensive side this season. Now, in the secondary, news was this morning, which I kind of knew was already coming, is no Jermod McCoy, no Ricky Gibson this week as well. I thought that we might see Jermod McCoy and little glimpses, third down big plays. He might be out there this week, but it looks like they're going to wait until probably week 5 to get him out there, because I don't presume he plays a ton next week. So yeah, that's kind of an iffy spot right now. However, the two corners starting this week, Colton Hood, number 8, Ty Redmond, freshman, number 4, have played very well so far. Colton Hood, transfer from receiver. He's played like a quarterback 1 this year. So I mean, he's a playmaker, and that's what I like to see. He's smart on the outside. So we'll see Colton Hood and Ty Redmond. Ty Redmond, freshman, 6'2", 190, very good size, good speed. He kind of reminds me a lot of a young Dalen Everett, and I think when Dalen Everett was young, everybody tried to pick on him just because of who was around the Georgia secondary, and he was just the young one, and he never let it happen. And that's kind of been Ty Redmond the first couple weeks of the season. Is the teams that we played aren't great, I know, but wherever he is, that's kind of where they attacked, and he hasn't let it happen. I think he leads the SEC, or is tied for second in pass breakups so far this season, and I just hope he's able to not let the environment, because this is going to be the first time in a big-time game in Neyland, get to his head and just plays sound football on Saturday. Now in the star positions, Jalen McMurray, very good week 1, not so great last week. I still have a ton of confidence in him, and he's got to be sticky this week. Zachariah Branch is in the slot, and that guy is good out of his breaks. Good release, very quick, and so need McMurray to be sticky and go back to how he was playing week 1. And make a couple big plays. At safety, number 2, Andre Turrentine. He's just don't get beat on Saturday. He really is a strong safety essentially, because he's bigger bodied. He plays down a lot. Very good in run game. Very good tackler. Just not as quick. Probably a 4.5 guy, which is fine for a safety, but you can't let these guys get over top of you on Saturday. And then the other side, Edris Farouk, number 15, and Caleb Beasley, number 10. I think they'll both play a big role Saturday, and they both need to be making big plays. Really, for them, what I want is just no mistakes on Saturday. If you don't make any mistakes, and not make any big plays, you did your job. The big plays are just a plus. And the biggest person in this secondary for me on Saturday, because of his playmaking ability, how much he can move around to different positions, he can cover everybody, and it'll be a full game for number 23, Boo Carter. I can't wait to see him on Saturday. He's going to be amped up, ready to go. Need him to make plays all day Saturday. I need him flying all over the field. And I hope that he can force a couple turnovers, get to the quarterback, punch out a ball, those types of things. Because I think Boo Carter is one of the keys for the Tennessee defense on Saturday. Key to the whole game. So that's kind of a rundown of your players that you'll see for the most part on Saturday. You'll see a little different ones here and there. Excuse me. So Now we're going to get to keys to the game. For Georgia, I think Gunnar Stockton has to let loose. He can't be a reluctant passer on Saturday. I think because Weeks, whatever, 12 for 20, 180 yards, 150 yards, it's not going to work this weekend. He's got to let the ball loose some. And, if that 12 for 20 turns to 14 for 23 and 230, I think that's a very good improvement for the Georgia offense, because that tells you that he's let loose on a couple of these balls he's been reluctant to throw the past couple weeks that they see in practice all the time. You hear Kirby Smart say it. In practice, he's an All-American, but I think he's a little skittish, and if that's the case, I think that bodes well for the Vols, because it's his first time in a big-time environment too. So I think being skittish already will only add to more skittishness on Saturday, being in Neyland Stadium. For Georgia, the defensive line, if he can get pressure on Aguilar, I think that's a big thing for Georgia this weekend, is getting pressure on the quarterback. And if they do, I would like to see Aguilar will stand in there and throw the ball, though, is the thing. He's not afraid to do it. He's not afraid to take a hit. So we'll see. And then, can playmakers make big plays for the Dogs on Saturday? They have a couple of them. You got the backs. You got Dwight Phillips. You got Nate Frazier. And then you got Zachariah Branch and Colby Young on the outside. Can those guys make plays? A guy who always kills us is Dylan Bell. Always. It never fails the last 3 years. I feel like he's been there for 10 years. But he's always one to have some type of big play against Tennessee. So that's the 3 things for them. I think the key players on Saturday for the Dogs are Gunnar Stockton, one, because he's got to take a step up this week, I think, or they won't win the football game. That's just what I think. Zachariah Branch, special teams and offense, can he have a couple explosive plays on Saturday in whatever terms it may be, a 60-yard bomb or a 50-yard punt return? Can he do that? If he does, I think that puts Georgia in a good spot. Eli Mendoza getting pressure off the edge on the Tennessee quarterback, Joey Aguilar. How much pressure can they get, and can it be effective? Because you can get pressure, but if he stands in there and still pinpoints a pass, which I saw him do in week 1 a couple times, but I also saw him float a ball whenever he got pressure. So which one are you going to get? Successful pressure, or get pressure and still able to push the ball where he wants it to go? So we'll see that on Saturday too. And the big one is Jonel Aguero in the secondary. Can the Vols attack him successfully? Does he clean up his play from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 and show what they shows, I guess, all the coaching staff, where he is a very good corner? Does he show up on Saturday in that aspect, or is that a place where the Vols can attack and get some mismatches? I hope the latter. I hope it's some mismatches with Mike Matthews, but we will see in terms of that. For Tennessee, can this young secondary hold up? I really think Boo Carter being back in there full time is a big help, because if somebody else makes a little mistake here and there, Boo Carter can probably pick it up just by how athletic he is and how he knows the game of football. But at the same time, Boo Carter could give up a massive play. So I think, can the secondary hold up? Can the freshman Ty Redmond play good ball on Saturday? I believe in him so far until he shows me something different. But I do think Boo Carter is the key for that secondary on Saturday. Get the rushing attack going early. We've done it before, 2 years ago, 80-yarder to start the game. That was all that happened. So get it going early, keep it going. Go ahead and point number 3, find the 2 or 3 big plays early. Get that defense on their heels. starting backwards and then bust the rushing attack again, and then hit another deep play. I think there needs to be 6 to 8 chances on Saturday for a deep play for the Vols. And if you hit 50% of them, that's a recipe for success, I think. Even 3 of them, if those 3 turn into touchdowns, that's points 21 right there. That gets you to where you've never been against this team in the last 5 or 6, 7 years. So I think that's a big key in the game. Key players for Tennessee, or key groups. My first one is the Tennessee offensive line. Can they continue to protect Joey Aguilar the way they have and give him enough time on Saturday? Georgia's D-line, linebackers, they are very, very pressure heavy, and they're hard to stop from getting pressure. So I think that's a big key, is that offensive line continuing to just protect Aguilar. And if not, Joey Aguilar, stay cool, calm, and collected. If the pressure's there, stand in there, deliver the ball, take the hit, or use your athletic ability that we've seen and get outside of the pocket and pick up some chunk plays with your legs. The one thing I pray he has learned from week 1 is to slide, because if you do not slide in this game, your head's going to be taken off by somebody on the Georgia defense because you didn't slide. So please, if you do run the ball, slide, get down, get the yards you need to get, and slide. Third one is Arian Carter. I know what he's going to do. I know he's going to have a good day, but he's just key for having a big day. He's very good every week. I need him to be even better this week. It's just how it is. I need him to play All-American ball on Saturday. And then the last one for this is the new look secondary, which I've already harped on a ton. I really hope Ty Redmond can hold up, because I'm really high on him. And I really hope Colton Hood has just a day for the Vols. And then Boo Carter and Jalen McMurray just keep playing confident, keep playing their ball, and make a couple plays. I do think they need to force a turnover, and they can. They are a very wreaking havoc defense, and they fly to the ball, and they make plays on the ball. So I think they do need to force a turnover or 2 if they can, but especially 1. Prediction is the last part of this, and we're just about at 40 minutes, so that's about perfect for what I was trying to do for this one. I am obviously a Tennessee fan, and I do believe that out of Josh Heupel's whole tenure at Tennessee, that this is his best chance to get Kirby Smart, just because of the quarterback play. He actually has somebody who is playing the quarterback position. The last couple of years, you've had guys who could throw the ball very well, but didn't play the quarterback position like a quarterback at a high level. Like last year, Reed 1 wasn't there. Nico was bailing out and running the football. So those types of things. A guy who's actually getting through his progressions, not afraid to stand in there and sling it, only runs when he has to, and the little wrinkles in the offense. So I do think this is, overall, as a roster, in totality for Tennessee, this is the best chance for him to get Kirby Smart, especially being at home and being early and having Gunnar Stockton make his first start on the road in that type of environment. Only bodes well for Tennessee. I think if the Vols get I'm not going to say 20 plus, because I think they get 20 plus on Saturday. But if they touch 27 plus, I think the Vols win. And if they hit 30, I think they definitely win. Can Joey Aguilar push the ball downfield, be accurate with those throws? Can the receivers get on top of these DBs to make a couple explosive plays in the offense? I think that is a big key in this game. We haven't seen it. So I think if that happens early and happens a couple times, I think it leads edge towards Tennessee. I think if this game gets into a fourth quarter ball game in Neyland Stadium and that crowd, I think that edge is Tennessee. On the defensive side, if this defensive line can get pressure on Gunnar Stockton and force him into some reluctant passes that he's not used to making, I think that also is edge Tennessee. However, if this Georgia run game gets going, that tight end room plays like they have the past couple years against us, and that D gets to Aguilar and the secondary doesn't allow those deep balls like they have in the past, which we've come accustomed to all four of those things happening in every single game that we've played against Georgia in the Heupel era. It's all dogs. If they make Tennessee one-dimensional like they have been in the past, it's all dogs. That's just a recipe for 9 straight for the Dogs. That being said, I do think Joey Aguilar hits a couple of these deep balls. I am biased in this pick because he is going to sling it. Gunnar Stockton is on his first true road game, and I do believe the Tennessee defense holds up, and I do think the streak ends with game day in town. Tennessee 30, Dogs 27.